What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 3 of a Washed Up Sports Podcast. My name is Evan Klein, and I am glad to be joined alongside my co-host, Max Lindley.
What's going on, guys? Happy to be back for a third episode this season. You know the deal. Talking sports. Let's get right into it.
We are an authentic sports commentary from the perspective of two washed-up athletes.
Yes, sir.
Today's episode is brought to you by The Daily Scoop. The Daily Scoop is the premier dog walking and pet sitting service of Bergen County, located in Glen Rock. The Daily Scoop provides service not only to Glen Rock, but to several surrounding towns as well. The Daily Scoop ensures that your pets are getting the best possible care while you can't be with them. Inquire for more at www.thedailyscoop.com. That's scoop with a K at www.thedailyscoop.com. Max the Instagram.
Daily Scoop LLC. Scoop with a K.
Scoop with a K.
Go check them out.
I'm repping the merch right now, Daily Scoop hoodie.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Love
that's
it.
always fun.
Always fun.
All right, guys. So, speaking of merch, we are dropping our merch today,
Hell yeah.
January 14th. So, our line of t-shirts, two designs, two different color tees. We got the navy blue classic logo tees, the gray washed up athletics tees. So, those are awesome. $20 a piece, I believe.
Yep, $20 a piece.
$20 a piece.
We got M to XL.
M to XL.
I believe we have 9 of each.
Right.
So limited quantity available.
Yes, 9 left of each.
Yep.
So, go sign up via the Google Forms in our bio.
Or the description of this video or podcast. We'll put it in every single description, every bio, so it's super easy for you guys to sign up.
Right, or hit one of us up. But
Yep.
go to if you don't want to hit us up, go to the Google form and just request your size and what you want and
Your
everything.
email, I think you put in your email, phone number, and then guess what? You don't want to hit us up? We'll hit you up.
Right,
We'll get that done for you.
exactly.
All right. So, merch announcement out of the way.
Right, and now I think we're just going to hop right into our interview with this week's guest. We have Jordan Cohn of radio.com. Very special guest, amazing interview. He joins the show. So we're going to hop right into that.
Yep.
Jordan Cohn, going to the interview now. We are now happy to be joined by Jordan Cohn of radio.com. Jordan, thanks so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to talk some sports.
So Jordan, getting started, would you be able to give our listeners a background of what you do with radio.com?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started there as an intern at a school a year and a half ago, and I was producing some shows, producing Brian Scalabrini's NBA show, which is no longer active, and then some baseball podcasts, a football one with Ross Tucker, and some other cool stuff. And then I transitioned into a full-time writing position. So I just write about whether it's breaking news or if they want me to put together a list of some sort. I did preseason NBA power rankings for the website. Just a lot of different articles, whether it's quirky or analysis or kind of viral trending stuff. I just try to hit all of that. So it's been cool. I've been there for about 8 months now.
Great. Appreciate it. So you said that you contribute to multiple podcasts across radio.com. Could you tell us just a little bit more about some of those, if there's just maybe one specific one you work on the most, or if you're on any also?
Yeah. So I was pretty much all behind the scenes. I was like running the board, producing them, coming up with the ideas. And now I've pretty much fully transitioned to the website, but Big Time Baseball is the one that's kind of kicking into gear again right now. It's John Heyman, who you may or may not know, but he works with MLB Network. And then Tony Gwynn Jr. is the other host. They kind of go around the league. Obviously, there's some Padres focus just because Gwynn is the host and he works with 93.7 The Fan in San Diego, which is our radio.com affiliate. So, yeah, they're kicking into swing there. Heyman has a lot of good, like, free agency and trade nuggets and all that good stuff. So, yeah.
Right. Anybody who is up to date on baseball news, especially on Twitter, John Heyman's always, one of those guys reporting big news.
Exactly. And it was kind of funny because he just got into like a spat with Trevor Bauer and everyone was like, why is Trevor Bauer starting this? Because all Heyman is doing is reporting. So I was on Team Heyman for that one, but
yeah, Bauer loves to talk. Everyone knows.
Yeah, exactly.
So appreciate that answer. We're going to get going into a little bit of NBA talk with Jordan. So both of us, big Celtics guys. So we have a couple questions regarding the Celtics. So we read actually some of your recent articles. We want to talk specifically about the Tatum and Brown article that you wrote recently. So you started that one off kind of saying how if Tatum and Brown keep this going on, you know, the way they've been playing, if they keep it up, that maybe the Celtics wouldn't think about pursuing somebody like James Harden, as there has been talks of. So what do you think the ceiling for guys like Tatum and Brown are, you know, to take this team deep into the playoffs?
I mean, the ceiling is a championship for this core. It's just a matter of who is built around them, because they are both in their own right on their way to becoming NBA superstars. I think Tatum is already there in some cases, and he's established that. And I wasn't sure where Brown was heading into the season. I actually had the Celtics ranked, I think, 8th in my preseason power rankings. And something that I said might be a shortfall for them was after getting rid of Hayward, they had Tatum and they had Brown at the wing, and then they were kind of lacking in depth behind that. So I thought that Brown would need to take a step up this year, and he has done that and beyond. He might be the most important player for the team as of right now. He's scoring at a pace that I knew he could hit 20 per game. I didn't think he could hit 26 and above at a consistent level. Again, it's early, but the way that they're playing, I don't think they need much other star pieces around them. I just think they need some more depth, and they could be a legitimate title contender.
Awesome. So moving on into something else about the Celtics. So with their draft picks this year, they selected Aaron Nesmith with their first pick and then Peyton Pritchard with their later pick. So Nesmith hasn't really been seeing a lot of time, but Pritchard, on the other hand, has been seeing some big-time minutes lately, and he even hit a game winner against Miami. So what do you think could be, you know, the ceiling? How far could a guy like Peyton Pritchard go? And, yeah, what do you think about Pritchard and how he's played so far?
Yeah, so if I were a Celtics fan, I would be extremely excited about Pritchard, as I'm sure everyone is. As a Sixers fan, I hate him because I watched him in the preseason, and I texted my friend. I'm admittedly not as tuned into college basketball as I am into NBA, and I was like, this guy Pritchard reminds me already of like that Marcus Smart mentality. He's just gonna like butt his head in there, hustle harder than everyone else on every play, like play bigger than he is as a point guard. You know, just make all the effort plays, and he did that. I mean, his game winner was on an offensive rebound. He's just like already playing above expectations. I really like what they found in Pritchard. Like, again, another, you know, late first rounder that could pay off. I'm also not upset with Maxey, who the Sixers got. Right. I think that this draft actually has a lot of, you know, I don't want to call them gems, but in a year where there was a lot of uncertainty, I think a lot of teams are happy with their selections so far.
Right. Yeah, Tyrese Maxey was a guy at Kentucky who there were not really that many questions about him. Everybody knew he had great talent. So, yeah, I think there definitely is also a lot to be excited about Tyrese Maxey in Philadelphia.
Yeah, for sure.
So the Sixers, obviously right now, tied for first place in the Eastern Conference. With the way they've been playing, do you think they could contend for an Eastern Conference final?
That's a good question, and it hinges on a few things. It hinges on Joel staying healthy and being able to play the same role that he's been playing, because as of now, I don't think people should shy away from marking him as a legitimate MVP candidate. He might not be in the forefront of everyone's minds, but in terms of the impact he's had on both sides of the floor, he's been the best interior defender. He's probably been the best interior offensive player, although Jokic and his versatility is a good matchup for that one. And I also am a little bit hesitant on Ben Simmons. I don't want to trade Simmons for Harden straight up. I don't want to do it. I don't think that James Harden would be worth everything that comes with him and, you know, his age and everything. I would rather have Simmons with this team. But with that being said, anytime there has been kind of a stagnant run where the Sixers just can't seem to score and there's no spacing and there's 3 seconds left in the shot clock and nothing has been open, it's because Simmons is on the court and, you know, either Seth or Green or Tobias isn't on the court, or, you know, for some reason are being, you know, denied the ball. And Simmons is really the reason that the offense slows up at times. So if they can figure out a way to more consistently open up the flow of the offense, I think that'll go a long way. And obviously that means that Simmons is going to have to at least diversify his game a little bit.
Yeah, kind of going into what you were talking about Simmons and Embiid. If you were the GM of the Sixers, and at the end of the season, I know there's a lot of speculation about what they might do. What are you doing? Are you keeping Simmons? Are you keeping Embiid? Are you keeping both? Are you looking to get some compensation during the middle of the season for them?
Yeah, I think that Embiid is here to stay for a long time. He's just already kind of asserted himself as an icon in Philly. He kind of represents the values of the team. I don't think that people want him to go anywhere. If Simmons can be dealt for a piece like Bradley Beal, for instance, which, I mean, Beal is apparently pretty frustrated and disgruntled in Washington, and I don't blame him because he's scoring 60 points and they're still losing by, a pretty significant amount. That's the type of player we need. The low end of that spectrum would be Buddy Hield, but he can't hit the side of a barn right now. He's shooting like some ridiculously low percentage, but just more of a pure scorer and shooter that can help space out the offense. I don't think that Ben's future is as entrenched as Joel, whether that means they move him now, whether that means they wait till the end of the season and see how the duo does. I think the most likely thing is that they both stay. But if there was one that was more likely to go than the other, I would say Ben.
Gotcha. So going back to what you said a little bit before, you said Ben Simmons diversifying his game a little. By diversifying, does that mean working on, a more consistent three-point shot? Because as we know, Ben Simmons can't hit a three to save his life. So
yeah, he can't even attempt a three to save his life. He has one make on 2 attempts on the season, I believe. And the make came against the Magic where just literally everything was going right that first half. But I read something recently from Kevin O'Connor at The Ringer, or actually it was in a podcast where he compared different GM scouting reports of Jaylen Brown and of Ben Simmons. And the majority, well, not the majority, but one of the executives said that he would rather have Jaylen Brown for the future because he's still developing. Whereas for Ben, we just know what he is, and everyone wants him to develop a shot. Everyone wants him to start shooting not only threes, but, mid-range jumpers, pull-ups from 10, 12 feet out. And apparently he just doesn't put in that work. Like that, the anonymous executive on this podcast said that he's, posting these videos to social media where he's in the gym working on threes, but that you shouldn't believe that. That's not like who he really is. He's not going to actually develop a shot, and he's not really going to worry about trying to. Again, that could be hearsay, but it's not exactly an optimistic sign for someone who is really held back by that aspect of his game.
Right, and this is a league where it's dominated by three-pointers
Yeah.
and shooting and offense. Right. That's the NBA right now, and that's just how it is.
Right.
So segueing a little bit into the next thing, the Knicks, they've been hot lately. Can you tell us what has got them going in the right direction for the first time in recent memory?
Yeah, well, Tom Thibodeau is playing a big role in that. He's already unlocked one dimension of a player who's been in the league for a while, but that hadn't really been used in this role, Julius Randle. Randle was usually just a big man down low. Now Thibodeau is kind of unlocking that dimension of him where he can be a point forward. And I don't have the stats in front of me right now, but it's like 26 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, like something, crazy that he hasn't done before. So Thibodeau is unlocking that dimension of a player, which in turn has really helped the Knicks find their go-to guy and someone that can, distribute the ball, facilitate the offense. And then he's also just brushed up on defense. Knicks have been very, very good defensively, and that's kind of the Thibodeau mentality. They didn't seem like a good team on paper, but by hiring Thibodeau, it showed that they thought they could win now and that they wanted to win now, at least a little bit, and not just be like the dumpster fire of the NBA for another year. And then Quickly has been showing good signs. They're giving RJ Barrett the minutes and the workload that he should probably warrant as a former, top 3 draft pick. So yeah, I think Thibodeau and his decision making is moving things in the right direction.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what we've seen too. I mean, from the Knicks' perspective, I think the whole revamp this offseason and getting someone new in there was just so huge for them.
Mm-hmm.
and it's huge for most teams when they need that rebuild.
Right, and the first time in a while that they had a draft class that a lot of the fans were really happy with.
Right. Yeah, we haven't seen much from Toppin just because of health and everything, but he's another guy that, like, we wanted an immediate impact when he is healthy, and he should be ready to immediately impact, for too long. Now the question is, they have so much cap room. Their third highest paid player on their cap roll this season is actually Joakim Noah, who is now out of the NBA. But that's just like a funny little blunder from the front office. But yeah, now the question is, like, if they do continue to play well and, show themselves to be a competent team, do they go for someone like Beal? Or do they, again, hold off until the offseason, though a lot of the big ticket free agents have already signed extensions. So I think Kawhi is the only one that's left, but I also think he's going to stay in LA. So yeah, it's interesting to see if they can keep it up, and if they do keep it up, what they do to keep the momentum going forward.
The Suns, they're another team, tied for first in the West right now. Was Chris Paul the missing puzzle piece that they've been searching for, do you think?
I think that the Paul signing was great. It was probably my favorite move of the offseason. But there's been some other stuff that's come into play, like, Mikal Bridges, his performance this year has been, he's a candidate for most improved player, breakout player, whatever. He's been playing really well. And yeah, I mean, Chris Paul, he went to a team last season, he went to the Thunder, who had literally no expectations to win or do anything even after they got Chris Paul. And it was kind of seen as like just a lost temporary step in the career, CP3. And then all he did was make them one of the most consistent threats in a strong Western Conference. So, like, he is someone that can turn a team around right away. He's a great pairing with Booker and Ayton. Again, Bridges has developed. Cameron Johnson has developed. They have a lot of good pieces. Oh, and Dario Saric is going to be back from injury, or he has recently returned from injury, which, even gives them more bench depth.
Right, definitely. So, wrapping up our NBA section with you, just one final thing about the Warriors. So Klay Thompson's obviously out for the year, and they're kind of relying on Steph Curry for all of the offense almost. Do you think Steph Curry can carry the Warriors to the playoffs, or do you see them looking for more reinforcements before the trade deadline?
It's a tough question. They're probably in too much of a salary bind to do anything too big, in the realm of trades or signings or whatever. But I think that Steph, one, has shown that he can carry the load on any given night, like when he had, 62 or whatever it was. But the pieces that they got to surround him, I also think have not played to the fullest of their potential, specifically Kelly Oubre. Like, he was a legitimately good scoring threat, efficient last year. I saw a stat where the Warriors rank 19th in three-point percentage this season. If Kelly Oubre wasn't on the team, they would be a top 5 team in three-point percentage. Like, he has been that bad from long range, just no consistency, no nothing from him. So if he can get going, and the Warriors have already had a pretty good start. I think they're like 6-4, is it? And, James Wiseman has shown a lot of, impressive stuff so far, just 10 games into his career. Wiggins is becoming a little bit more useful as opposed to just a pure scorer that doesn't provide anything else. So I think they're a solid team. Steph is still going to have to carry the load, but I think that they can get some stuff done.
Awesome.
Gotcha. So we know you're an Eagles fan.
Big Philly guy.
Yep. Monday, we got some breaking news that Doug Pederson is out of Philadelphia. Do you think you break down kind of what went into Howie Roseman and the Eagles' decision to let go of Pederson, move on from him, and what do you think they're going to look for in the next head coach? Yeah,
so I don't know exactly how much Howie Roseman had a say in this, or if it was Jeffrey Lurie's call. I do know that Doug Pederson wanted to call his own plays, and for anyone who has sat through Eagles games in recent years like I have and watched them run the ball inside for no gain on 2nd and 10 every single drive and get nowhere and show no creativity, knows that Doug Pederson should not be calling plays for an offense in the NFL. It worked one year when Frank Reich was helping him out as well. I just don't think that Jeffrey Lurie wanted Pederson to be calling plays, and I don't think Pederson wanted to be a head coach if he didn't have the power to call plays. So there was a conflict of interests there. And, there's also the whole Wentz dilemma, where if they want to keep Wentz, if they want to give him another shot, that wasn't going to work with Doug Pederson in the building, with Doug Pederson at the helm. So I think there were just too many conflicts of interests, and a lot of people are a little emotional. Obviously we want to thank Doug for all the work he's put in and the Super Bowl and everything, some of the best moments of our lives as Eagles fans. But I and many other fans were at the point where we were pretty ready to move on. This season was not fun to watch by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, end of an era there, and I'm not too upset about it.
Right.
Gotcha. Do you think the Eagles are going to keep Carson Wentz now that Pederson's gone, or do you think they could still move on from him?
Yeah, that's the question. I'm in the camp that I think we should clean house, go with Jalen Hurts. Oh, I was supposed to mention some people that I would like to replace Doug. This kind of fits into that. I think that getting rid of Wentz, if we can somehow unload his contract and persuade the Colts or the Patriots or whoever to bite on him.
Not the Patriots. Please, not the Patriots.
It's the rumors out there. But if we can get rid of Wentz, we've gotten rid of Doug. I would like to get rid of Howie because we're in cap hell, but who knows if they'll do that. Start fresh with Hurts. Get a coordinator who's innovative, who can use his dual threat abilities. I like Eric Bieniemy. I like Brian Dable. I like Arthur Smith. I like Joe Brady. It's just one of those kind of innovative play callers who has maxed out the potential of his offense and what he's been given. Like Arthur Smith with the Titans, they know they have Derrick Henry. They're going to run the ball a lot with Derrick Henry, and it's going to work. The Eagles were a top 10 team in rushing yards because Miles Sanders was great. They were a bottom 10 team in rushing attempts because Doug Pederson just didn't know how to use his players to the best of their ability. So I think they're going to look for someone who will help to fill that void. And as for Wentz, I would like to see him gone, but a lot of people think back to that 2017 season and say, this guy is much better than what we've seen the past couple seasons. So there are definitely mixed emotions there.
Gotcha. And then in terms of the draft, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, has to be a wide receiver in your opinion, or what do you think?
This team could use a lot. And the fact that we have drafted a wide receiver early in the past few drafts, not that they've turned out great. I mean,
could have been Justin Jefferson.
Well, it could be DK Metcalf and Justin Jefferson, yeah. So we do need a receiver, but the past couple drafts, we have addressed the receiver, which means we haven't been addressing other positions that we need. So really, I think it could be, a best available guy. We could use some offensive line help because they're aging. So if Sewell is somehow there, I think we should look for him. Patrick Surtain, I mean, we desperately need secondary help. He would be great. Micah Parsons, keep it in Pennsylvania. Give us, a linebacker with a unit that was solid this year, but going into the season, it was a huge question mark. And then, wide receivers obviously would be another focal point and probably what a lot of the fan base wants. We just have to hope that Howie, doesn't stray from the norm and actually looks at big boards and takes people's recommendations and doesn't just draft someone random. But yeah, Chase, Waddle, Smith, I'd really be happy with anyone.
Gotcha. I mean, also on your point about the offensive lineman, you don't know if Kelsey's staying this year.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You're probably going to have to replace him. If not, you're going to have to pay him. So either way, you're either looking for a replacement or dishing out a decent lump of money.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Brooks just tore his Achilles before the season, so who knows if he'll be able to come back the same. Jason Peters, we brought back on a whim that didn't really pay off. There have been some, impressive developments. I mean, Herbig hasn't been bad. I didn't even know who Herbig was prior to the season, and he ended up, being a regular starter. But Andre Dillard, huge question mark. Say Amalu is a question mark. I mean, there's just question marks all over the place, and it extends beyond the offensive line, even the defensive line. We have Graham and we have Cox, but not for much longer definitively, and they're getting up there in age, and we were kind of notably less effective up front on defense, which made the rest of our defense worse as a whole. So yeah, a lot of areas to address.
100%.
Jordan Cohn, the Philadelphia sports aficionado.
I like that title.
There we go. Jordan, this was awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, talking basketball, a little bit of Eagles. Wish we could go on for hours, but unfortunately that's not the case. But thanks again for joining us, and wish you the best, man.
Yeah, definitely. Can't wait to listen to the whole thing later on. Thank you guys for having me. It was good to be on. I'll come back if there's any more news that seems to fit what I'm an expert in.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you back sometime in the near future, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, guys.
All right. Welcome back from the interview, everyone. That was awesome. Thanks again, Jordan.
Yeah.
Pleasure to have you on. Some great insight there. So, we'd definitely love to have you on again in the future, I think.
100%.
Some really
Especially
great stuff.
next year with Philly rebuilding. It looks
Totally.
like we'll definitely have to have him on in the offseason come draft time to get some good insight about what Philly's going to do. Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts.
Right. And Jordan, I feel Jordan's a guy. I feel like when you're talking to him about sports, he's one of those people. He just you just can tell he knows what he's talking about.
He does. He does, and he's not speaking from a place of unknown. He's
Right.
always if he doesn't know something, he's not going to say he does.
Exactly.
That's the type of person he is.
Right.
And he totally gave off that vibe and energy in that interview. So, thanks again, Jordan.
Yes.
That was electric. As always, our interviews are always electric. We thank everybody who comes on.
Absolutely. We love doing the interviews for you guys. We know you guys love the interviews. So we're going to segue into the next topic.
Goat talk.
Goat talk. That's what we're bringing today. So.
The new Tiger doc got us thinking about goats. And even though, for golf, Tiger is pretty much the undisputed golf goat, we figured we'd talk goats for other sports.
Right.
Just to clarify, GOAT, greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time.
That's pretty much common knowledge at this point, but we figured we'd just clarify before we get into it.
Yeah, definitely wanted to clarify because I feel like we have some listeners who maybe listen to just support and maybe don't know the most about sports. So always good to throw that in there.
Yeah, we'll clarify.
Right.
Always. So, Evan, you want to start with basketball?
We're gonna go basketball. We're gonna go position by position.
Yep. What we got first?
We got point guards. We got guards.
All right, guards. Love it. Probably my favorite position to watch in basketball.
All right, you wanna?
Yeah, I'll break it down.
Yeah, break it down.
All right, so I picked out a couple players all time that I figured deserve to at least be in the conversation. So we'll go through those and then we'll have a little discussion and pick one for each position. So point guard, obviously Magic Johnson, long career with Los Angeles Lakers. Next, Steph Curry, arguably greatest shooter of all time. Next, Allen Iverson, best handle of all time. Russell Westbrook, best triple-double getter of all time. Isaiah Thomas, one of the most gritty point guards of all time, and he has the rings to back it up. So, what do you think, Ev?
So I do like Magic Johnson in this debate. I think I like Magic. The thing for me, I do think I am an advocate for Steph Curry, greatest shooter to step on a basketball court.
I think I'm there with you, too.
Yeah.
For Steph Curry, greatest shooter. Yeah.
And you're even seeing it now, as we talked about in the interview today, can Steph Curry carry the team on his own? I mean, he dropped 62 last week.
Yeah.
And, his just even now, but even looking back a few years ago, Steph Curry was and he is a machine. So
100%.
So that's where I'm at with shooter, but guard, Magic Johnson, just the way he played, the size he had as a point guard, to be his size and play that way, I think it's very hard to debate against that. I really do. And I'm sure being on those amazing Lakers team helped. But
yeah, 100%. I think I can't argue with you about Magic Johnson, and I know this guy does not have any rings to back it up, but I'm going to go with AI.
Okay.
Just off talent. That man had the meanest handle on the basketball court ever. I don't think anybody had a better or has a better handle than him. He passed the ball very well. He was a great shooter, and he could finish at the rim. I think he was one of the most complete point guards there was. And he was just one of my favorite to watch. He had that, underdog mentality that really just made him a bigger figure than what he was. He was bigger than he was. He was only 6 foot something, but it felt like he could hang with the big guys. because of how he played.
Definitely. Yeah, I love Allen Iverson. I think his...
I don't think he's the best, but I think he's probably the most talented. Like, just raw talent, he's up there.
I love his game, no doubt. I've actually heard from some people. I know someone who met Allen Iverson one time told me just like the very mean, just like asshole, just like not a nice guy. But besides the fact, I loved his game though, and
yeah, he was awesome. So moving on, shooting guard. We're still in the guards. This one debatable by many, some undisputed, but we'll get into it.
Undisputed for me.
All right, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, Klay Thompson, and Ray Allen. The last three I figured I'd just mention, just honorable mentions. I don't really think they deserve to be up there for greatest with the other two that we mentioned prior.
We're just giving options for people, you know?
So Kobe and MJ I think are the clear-cut 1 and 2.
Right.
I think had Kobe gotten another championship and ended his career with 6, I think it would be a much harder debate. But he didn't. He ended with 5.
For greatest of all time.
Yeah. For
just
greatest shooting guard.
Yeah.
Like.
Okay.
I mean, I guess rings don't really matter that much in this kind of debate because you're not talking greatest of all time ever.
Well, the thing is, my greatest of all time is Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And therefore, I'm choosing him as my greatest of all time shooting guard. And I know a lot of people put Kobe in the conversation, like maybe like 3rd or 4th for greatest of all time. I just don't. I love Kobe.
Second.
I love Kobe. I just don't. I don't think he is the greatest of all time.
No, I don't. I think MJ is the one. I think Kobe is clear cut number 2 though.
I think.
I mean, he has the rings to back. He has the rings to back it up. LeBron does not. Until LeBron gets there, if LeBron gets there, bam, he's number 2. He's right there with Kobe and MJ. I'm just waiting for him to get there. I'm not saying he won't. It's just a matter of time at this point. I'm just not ready to put him there when Kobe has the 5 rings.
What if LeBron wins again this year?
Then he'll have 5?
Should be, right?
Yeah, 5. Then, yeah, I'll consider it. I'll be like, yes, he's right there with Kobe. Him and Kobe are 2. MJ 1.
So you think rings are that important?
I think rings are very important legacy-wise. I mean, think about, we'll get to it later, but Drew Brees, the way his legacy is looked at compared to Tom Brady. They both have the same passing accolades, but because of the rings, they're looked at a lot differently. And I think that should be applied to basketball as well. You know what I mean? You don't have to agree. I'm just trying to
I don't think I do agree, but I do understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. I'm sure some viewers understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
similarly too.
Let's talk. I think Peyton Manning would have had even been higher up on like people's GOAT list if he had more rings. And
we'll get to that.
Right, and people bash Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
For rings, just rings specifically, not like even GOATs of all time. But people I guess that is important, but based off of play, I can't. MJ and LeBron are my top 2.
Gotcha.
MJ,
of all time.
MJ, yeah.
We're just talking all time.
Right, MJ the clear-cut 1.
For shooting guard, you're saying MJ?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Kobe for shooting guard, just because I grew up on Kobe. And,
well, now I have a question.
What?
How could you go with Kobe for shooting guard, but then MJ as your greatest basketball player of all time?
Because MJ played more than one position. So, if we were doing that, lineup thing, I could just put MJ at point guard.
Or small forward.
Or small forward. He literally could play 1 through 4. Effectively. But I'm going to go with Kobe for shooting guard. I think the next one, small forward, let's just say LeBron James, because I don't even think it's a question, really. Do you?
No, it's LeBron. LeBron, then Durant.
And then Larry.
Then Larry, yeah.
I think that would be the top 3. And then I think you got to throw, I think you definitely have to throw Scottie Pippen in there. Just because of what he contributed to the Bulls dynasty back in the 90s, I think he has to be up there with LeBron, Larry, Kevin, just because he had the rings.
Sure.
And he was very talented.
Sure.
Great defender. So yeah, we're in agreement on that one. LeBron, undisputed, small forward. Power forward, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone, and Dirk Nowitzki. I'm going to stick with Kevin Garnett. But I really think it's neck and neck between him and Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I would go with Tim Duncan. I honestly think for how amazing, for how great Tim Duncan is, I think he's a little underappreciated.
I think he's a little overappreciated.
Really?
Yeah. I think had
Really?
Kevin Garnett played in San Antonio, it would have been the same, if not better.
With with prime Tony Parker and prime Manu?
Yeah. I mean, we saw when Kevin Garnett had a supporting cast in Boston, he dominated.
Right.
I
He dominated in Minnesota, too.
Exactly. But with the supporting cast, he won a ring, is my point. So, like...
Man's really on the ring shit today.
No, I'm not
saying it's not important.
No, it's just a factor. But if it was so much of a factor, why would I say Kevin Garnett? He has less rings than Tim Duncan.
Okay.
So I'm saying Kevin Garnett just because that's my opinion. I think he was better skill-wise and defensively. I think he had the mentality like nobody else on the floor. I remember he wouldn't let people score. Like, when you get a free shot after the shot clock expires or they blow the whistle, he would jump up and swat it and goaltend, so you wouldn't have the chance to score. Just to get your head even more.
I got you. Going back where, people can play so many positions, like obviously like Kevin Durant can easily play the 4.
And he could play center.
Yeah, he's so huge. Yeah. But anyway, and one thing I was also thinking about, I know he's not ready to be on this list at all yet, and I know you probably think even less so because he doesn't have any rings. But if things keep going the way they're going, what about like in a few years? What about like talking about Giannis in there?
For power forward, I see Giannis as more of a center. Just the way the league is gone.
I mean, yeah, but they play Brook Lopez in starting 5.
Yeah, exactly, but like, yeah. I could 100% see if he gets the rings to back it up. Honestly.
What if he doesn't have the rings, but he still dominates?
Probably not. You got to have rings, like.
Yeah, I guess.
That's an important factor overall. So you're at Tim Duncan?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tim Duncan. I think.
Just to throw it out there, you could throw it out there just because we mentioned him for the power forward. Dennis Rodman, I think hands down the greatest rebounder and one of like the most tenacious defenders of all time.
Max, the big '90s guy.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, absolute nutcase.
Nutcase, love him though.
Yeah.
The man. Next, we got center. We got Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, and Pat Ewing. Mostly 90s guys, but I feel like we haven't really seen that dominant of a center since the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Unless you have anybody you'd like to add. I mean, this is just who I think that's
I mean, my GOAT for center is on that list, but I had a good thing that I recognized. So many great nicknames on this list. I guess you could put Yao Ming maybe on the list.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you got Shaq, which is a great nickname in itself for Shaquille. You got
Kareem,
I guess, but I wasn't even
it's not a nickname, but like you call him a one-word name.
Right, we got Hakeem the Dream.
Hakeem the Dream.
And then we got the Admiral.
The Admiral.
So that's an all-time great nickname. The Admiral for David Robinson. That's electric.
I think that is too. I think this category, I think if we're just talking nicknames, you got 4 top ones right there.
Kareem.
Yep. I'm gonna go with Shaq.
I'm gonna go with Shaq as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He was just so freaking dominant. Like, he would go up against these other centers and make them not look like a pro. He'd make them look like a high school, college ball player.
Yeah, just absolute domination, no doubt. I'm with you there on Shaq. If you know me, you know one of my favorite basketball clips of all time is Shaq with the Magic just shattering the backboard.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love to see it
No
anytime
doubt.
It pops up on Twitter or Instagram or anything.
Yeah.
Always great to see. Football.
We're going into football, goats.
Into football, goats. 3 positions I picked out: quarterback, wide receiver, and cornerback. I think these are probably 3 of the most important positions in football.
Sure.
And like the most highlighted. Quarterback, Tom Brady,
TB12, yeah.
Joe Montana, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning.
Get out of there. No, Tom Brady.
Yep, but like you were saying earlier, Peyton Manning, if you want to just expand on that a little bit.
If he won more rings, he would be probably more in the conversation, but...
I mean, what do you think Drew Brees, Peyton Manning? What do you think of, like, Aaron Rodgers? Those 3. Like, where do you put them?
Tom Brady won. Rodgers 2 if he wins this year.
I think Rodgers 2, no matter what.
Joe Montana 3.
I'm gonna agree.
Peyton 4. Breeze 5.
I'm going to 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
But I'm not contingent on Rodgers winning the Super Bowl. I think Rodgers is 2.
I don't know if I'm
Because
contingent.
he's gonna win more. Like,
I haven't decided if I'm contingent or
Yeah.
not, to be honest.
I think he's gonna do exactly what Tom does. Like just play until he can't anymore and just win as many championships.
he has a lot more injuries than Tom Brady.
But he's gotten like progressively better with
No, yeah.
age.
No, but those types of things like broken collarbones stuff catch up to you when you're older.
Yeah, they do. We'll
Like
see.
that thing,
but
I feel like the thing that's kept Tom going so long is that he's only had one really major injury in his entire career.
Yep. Only that ACL in 2009.
Kansas City.
Yeah. Kansas City always screws us. Seems like.
Right.
All right, moving on to wide receiver. Want to break the last two down for me, wide receiver, cornerback?
Yeah, I got you. I think I know where you're going with this, but on these, we've got Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, Larry Fitzgerald, Terrell Owens. I wanted to throw another one in there. I wanted to throw Michael Irvin in there.
That's a
Just
good
for,
one.
like a name.
Swerve and Irvin.
Right. Just like for a name, just because we need names.
And D-Hop, bro.
Oh my God, Max, come on. Not
Really?
yet. Not even in the conversation yet.
You don't even think he's in the conversation
No.
yet. Then who of this 2000s receivers is?
Do
All
you,
right,
do
fine.
you consider
Not
Moss?
DeAndre Hopkins.
Do you consider Moss a 2000s receiver?
He's a 90s receiver into the 2000s. But I'll replace. Let's replace DeAndre Hopkins with Calvin Johnson. How's that?
Okay, that's more fair.
Yeah.
Definitely way more
I think
fair.
End of DeAndre Hopkins' career. I think we're gonna have a conversation, and it's gonna sound a lot like what I just said.
Maybe, especially if he wins Super Bowl.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But
for now, I don't think he even deserves to be mentioned.
all right, that's fair. I think he's just undisputed best in the league right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I figured we'd get some like new names in it.
Okay. Just giving people variety, food for thought. You know.
Food for thought.
You know.
All right,
I'm gonna go with Jerry Rice. I think.
Yeah?
For this one.
I'm going with Randy Moss.
I know you are.
And I'm gonna explain why. Just because I'm a devout Randy Moss fan.
I know you are.
Straight cash on me. So, I think it's a similar situation to, like, if Peyton Manning had Bill Belichick. Like, if Randy Moss had played on the San Francisco 49ers, I think he would do better than Jerry Rice. I think he was more skilled, more talented, like a better overall receiver. I think Jerry Rice is just remembered as the best because of the amount of rings he has. But you got to remember, Randy Moss is right there with him.
I mean, I don't know if I would agree with if he was on the front. Randy Moss was catching balls from the greatest quarterback of all time.
For a year and a half was all he had with him. If he had the whole career there, bro.
It was only a year and a half?
Yeah, he only had that 1 year after he got traded, the Super Bowl run. Then he was there the half a year after, or the full year after, and then they traded him before that next offseason. So they had the offseason of the Super Bowl, part of that next season, and then I can't remember if they traded him halfway through the season or at the end of the season. It just didn't work out after that. Him and Tom, like, were going at it because he wasn't getting the ball enough or whatever. Because they had Welker, they had somebody else defeated at that time. Gronk was coming up.
Yeah.
But that's my reasoning for Moss. I get what you're saying. Like, he had Brady, but he didn't have Brady for that long. And I feel like, say the Patriots had Randy Moss for his whole career, I think Randy Moss is go.
Could be, but I'll never know.
100%.
Randy Moss would probably be number 2 for me.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Like,
And
I
then
think Jerry Rice is
Michael
up there
Irvin
too.
3.
Really?
Yeah.
I go Randy Moss 1, Jerry Rice 2, and then Terrell Owens 3.
Really?
T.O., get your popcorn, baby. He was so talented. He could play every type of receiver position.
You know whose name I'd like to throw in there? Chad Ochocinco.
Nah, he doesn't have the yards to back it up.
Maybe not, but he was electric when he played.
100%.
There were a couple
doesn't
seasons
have
where-
the career to back it up. That's
Right.
why he's never going to get in the Hall of Fame.
Right, there were a couple seasons though where he looked like,
The best.
yeah.
He's probably one of the greatest route runners of all time. Him and DeAndre Hopkins, probably the two greatest route runners of all time. So crisp. It's just untouchable. Tyler Lockett's up there too.
Tyler Lockett is a really
He
good
runs
runner.
some really nice routes. Doug Baldwin ran the crispest routes. Probably taught Tyler Lockett some of them.
Right.
So yeah, we're not in consensus there, but we're pretty close. I got Randy 1. He's got Jerry 1, and then respectively, we both have the other at 2. Moving on to our last GOAT for football, cornerback.
We got Deion Sanders, Champ Bailey, Ty Law, Revis, Woodson.
To clarify, Charles Woodson.
Charles Woodson. I'm going to go with primetime.
Primetime.
Deion Sanders.
100%. I think Ty Law is probably the second most legit there.
I'd probably take Woodson, then like Revis, Law, Bailey-ish. I don't know.
Gotcha. It's just Ty Law was one of my favorites to watch growing up, so it's probably a little personal more than anything else.
Right.
But I like Ty Law probably more than Darrelle Revis.
Gotcha.
Like 100%
Gotcha.
level-wise, but that's probably just favoritism having him too.
Right.
But definitely in consensus about primetime number 1.
Gotcha.
He's
and then,
so good.
So that was the GOAT talk. So consensus though, basketball greatest of all time, Michael
MJ.
Jordan. Football greatest of all time, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Okay.
So those are the 2 GOATs for those sports. And
So
then
we'll
golf,
leave
we
that
kind
at-
of touched on it.
Tiger Woods, yeah.
That's pretty much consensus.
It is.
I think it's at this point. I think it's played out to argue that Jack Nicklaus is the GOAT. I think it's a little played out because Tiger has just been so dominant for so long,
Yeah.
and Jack Nicklaus didn't have the runs that Tiger had. Jack Nicklaus didn't have a slam named after him. There was no Jack Nicklaus slam. It was the Tiger slam. So I think we're at this point, at least in golf, that it should just be Tiger.
Right.
I think you agree. Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, 100%.
I do.
Cool.
So we're gonna quickly go into our last segment. We've got playoff pick'em.
Hell
Right
yeah.
now the score is 14-9 me. I'm getting my lead back up. I'm running away again. But there's still a lot of playoff football left for Max to try to come back before he has to sit here in a banana suit. So
We didn't talk. Is that for a whole episode?
I don't know. We need a
We'll have a meeting.
yeah. We'll have a meeting.
We'll talk after this podcast.
All right.
Sounds good.
So, Pick'em. Today's Pick'em is brought to you by Advanced Office Furniture. Since 2003, Advanced Office Furniture has been providing the New York metro area with the highest quality custom furniture. All the furniture is produced in their state-of-the-art manufacturing facility here in New Jersey and never outsourced. Your business is unique, so why don't you choose to furnish it with specialty furniture that is built to last? With high-quality, customized solutions, no matter what your needs are, Advanced Office Furniture will surely exceed your standards. During the COVID pandemic, many people have moved to home offices. Worry not, Advanced Office Furniture has you covered.
Yes, they do.
For more, visit www.advancedofficefurniture.com. That's www.advancedofficefurniture.com.
Check them out.
So, Pick'em.
Pick them.
First
I'm
game.
looking to make a little comeback here. Just making that clear.
You need to. So
I need to.
I'm interested to see where you go with these. I'm not letting you back in like I did
Dude,
last time with
you
my
do
under.
let me
I
back
let
in.
you back in.
You get a little too cocky. And you just always pick
Fighting
the
words.
favorites. Like,
No.
yeah, bro, you're constantly picking the favorites. I like to go with the dogs.
And you lose.
No, I beat you that one week.
The week you beat me was the week I picked all the dogs.
You didn't pick all the dogs. I
Most-
picked some dogs.
I picked most dogs.
Whatever.
So we'll start off with Rams and Packers.
All right, so this game's sitting at early spreads are looking at -6.5 to -7.5 for the Packers.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Green Bay.
Yeah, so am I. I'm gonna
You
stick with
can't
Aaron
not.
Rodgers because that's my Super Bowl pick, and honestly, I can't really bet against him at this point. What I am interested to see though, how the teams look after a bye. Could that really be like something that hurts them this year more than it harms them?
It didn't usually hurt the Patriots.
Yeah, but with the COVID year, your bye isn't really a bye week. You have to come in every day and get tested.
Yeah, I suppose.
So
No, I mean I don't think it's gonna mean anything with the Packers. The Packers are my pick for this to win the Super Bowl right now.
me
so.
too. So that was really just my my little. I wonder if that will have a minor effect or not. I don't really think it will.
Okay.
But yeah. So we both got the Packers. That game's at -6.5, as we said. Look for that line to move as we get closer to the game, because
Right.
I think that's actually going to be
Moving on.
a little closer.
We're going to we got Ravens and Bills. I want you to pick this one first.
Okay, I'm sticking with the Bills because I think they're the hottest team right now, even though I like the way the Ravens looked last week against Tennessee.
Yeah.
I can't pick them against Buffalo right now. They got it going on.
I think Buffalo is really good and has I'm not saying I think I want it to be interesting. I think I'm going to go against you and take the Ravens because I think it's going to be a phenomenal football game.
Yeah, this game is sitting at 2 points right now, and look for it to turn into a pick'em.
Right.
I really think that's the type of game it is.
Right. I just think Lamar could be a lot for the Buffalo defense to handle. I don't know. It depends how Ravens offense comes firing, to be honest, against the Bills defense. I think the Ravens defense is most fit to deal with the Bills offense. Somewhat, but
I don't see a single person who could cover Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I mean, but nobody in the league can really cover Stephon Diggs right now.
Yeah, Gilmore kind of could, but he's still got burned too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens but I think it could go either way, no doubt. So don't be like, oh, Klein picked the Ravens because he thinks they're definitely gonna win. I don't definitely think they're gonna win. I'm just picking them because I think they could win.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Bills still. Just because I think the Bills' defense is actually more equipped to deal with the Ravens' offense than the Ravens' defense is equipped to deal with the Bills.
Right.
The Bills are complete right now.
So next game we have Cleveland Browns against Kansas City Chiefs. I'm very excited.
This is not a 10-point game.
No.
The spread is at 10 points right now. This is not even close to a 10-point game.
I'd like to hammer the plus 10, honestly.
If I was putting money on it, I would hammer that.
Yeah.
Hammer.
Same. But with that being said, I still am going to pick the Kansas City Chiefs to win the game, but I think it's going to be a great game, and I think it could go down to the wire. I really don't think that they're going to get blown out. I don't think that many people thought that the Steelers were going to blow out the Browns. Obviously, that didn't happen. People are saying the Chiefs are going to blow out the Browns. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Kansas City's going to win, but I think it's going to be closer than people think.
I'm going to take the Browns just because I've said this to you. If there's a team that could beat the Chiefs, I thought it would be the Tennessee Titans because of Derrick Henry and the way that they can control the clock. But because you got the two-headed monster in the backfield of Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, I think they could do it too. I think the Browns could also stop the Chiefs if they could control the clock and really keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, which I think is totally possible. I think they have a real good shot, so I'm gonna go with the Browns.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one, no doubt, a good one. And then, finally wrapping up, we have Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The death of Drew Brees.
New Orleans Saints. You know, it's worked for me this far. I'm gonna keep picking the Saints against you because it works every time. So
this will be the death of Drew Brees.
Yeah, that's what you say every week.
No, I say he's dead already. This will be the death. He said he's retired.
If he's already dead, how could this be the death?
I don't know. It's a second death. I don't know, man.
So
yeah, I'm sticking with the Bucks.
Gotcha. Gonna be a great game. 3-point spread. So I think it will be.
I think it'll be a blowout.
Oh, come on.
It's so hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. So difficult. And Tom Brady in the playoffs, I'll take against Drew Brees in the playoffs any freaking day of any week, any field, any time. Tom could be 60, Drew could be 25. I'd still take Tom Brady.
I think it's going to be one-score game in favor of the Saints, but could go either way.
All right.
So we did have some disagreement this week. So we'll see if the score.
Let me back in.
We'll see if the score gets flipped around a little bit after this week. Should be interesting to see.
Should be.
So we're just wrapping up now. That was a really fun episode.
Hell yeah, a lot of fun. Thank you.
No doubt. Follow the Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube.
Hey, seriously, hit that subscribe button. It takes 5 seconds.
Literally.
Go freaking down there. We got 45 subscribers right now. I want to get to 100 by freaking February.
Yeah, 45's kind of ass. So if you guys want
we got close to 200 followers on Instagram. How come we can't get some of our viewers and we get good views on our podcast? So subscribe to the freaking YouTube.
We do get
right?
good views. Yeah.
You with me?
I'm very much with you.
All right. I'm not trying to be aggressive, and forceful, but just really please
Yeah, that's kinda just-
subscribe to the.
that's
it
kinda
takes
just
2
like
seconds,
how
it's
he
right
is.
Down there. Yeah, I know. I'm just electric.
Oh, he's just electric.
Part of the personality.
All right, guys.
Yeah, go buy some merch too. $20 a pop.
All right, guys. Bless up. See ya.
Bless up. Deuces.